Woke up this morning, opened up the eyeballs, gave them a bit of a rub, and then I reminded myself that today is International Day of Happiness. And I thought when I first woke up, just getting out of bed, what have I got to be happy about? Well, we live in Australia. Thank God we do. We live in a very reasonable part of the world that is surviving tastefully when you look at other sections. So doesn't the world need, more than ever, International Day of Happiness? Who do I talk to about this? Merv Neal. Merv Neal is our Laughter Yoga Australia guru, and he joins us now on the radio on 6PR. Good evening, Merv.
Oh, Todd, how you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good indeed. Can I ask you, before we dive into this, why are we actually celebrating International Day of Happiness? I mean, realistically, mate, shouldn't every day be a day where we can find something to smile about?
Well, picking up on a couple of things, celebrate. I think we do have to celebrate it because we're not happy enough, Todd. So when we do have a good day, we should celebrate it because there seems to be a lot of non-happy people around there. And as you suggested, a lot of things happening in the world that don't make us happy. So I think we should be grateful for a day where someone brings it to the forefront and all of a sudden people like you ring people like me and all of a sudden you're broadcasting to the world about let's be mindful and grateful about happiness. So what was fascinating, Todd, when I become aware of it, and I was only aware of it this morning when I woke up, when your producer gave me a call and said, can we chat with Todd? And a big smile come across my face and I was happy. So that was a great way to start the day. And all of a sudden I looked up online and it said, it's about mindfulness. So putting a focus on what are some things to be happy about. Now, this doesn't mean we're running around and we've got tinsels and unicorns everywhere around us. It's just being mindful that we should be happy with what we have, which comes down to gratefulness, which you've already touched on. We should be grateful to be living in this part of the world. And if that doesn't make you happy, what does?
Yeah, and I guess in hindsight too, once upon a time, and this is me being the cynic, once upon a time, I would see days like this as sort of fundraising opportunities. For example, International Day of Red Pants. By the way, if you'd like to buy red pants, here's the .com to go to. So, do you know what I mean? It's sort of like it's a marketing strategy to say, let's do this. But in hindsight, more than ever, the world that we live in, and there's obviously the bar humbug people that will quietly come back and say, well, what have I got to be happy about? We actually have a lot to be happy about. We've got a lot to be grateful for, but we need to be mindful. We need to pause, realise that we are in the moment and find something rather than just hitting the default setting and going through worried and stressed.
Well, this comes back to the gratitude thing, Todd. So I did a gig with year 11 and 12 today. And I just said, what does that actually mean to you all? And they struggled to define it. And then one lovely young lady said, it means that I am grateful for everything that I have, not what I don't have. And I'm going, that's it. So being grateful is a little mind trick about positivity, really, because when you have a gratitude journal, and I encourage everyone as soon as they finish listening to you, just to grab a piece of paper and write down three things. Write it down to something about actually putting the pen to paper about what you're grateful for just before you go to bed. And then read it back. I will guarantee you they are three positive things. You won't write down, I'm grateful that I'm sick. I'm grateful that I don't have enough money. So it's a little mind trick to put everybody into a state of positivity. And it's very hard not to be happy when you're being positive, Todd.
Actually, look, the so-called gratitude journal was pretty big, I think probably about 8 to 10 years ago. It's sort of quietly dissipated. We don't necessarily need a journal, but just writing something down at the end of the day and then looking at it at the first thing in the morning now that's a reboot in a positive fashion. I think also, and this is so simple, but it's bloody stupid, Merv. We're talking to Merv Neal, Laughter Yoga Australia guru. But also, on this day of International Day of Happiness, if you are kind to someone, you give a little bit of energy, you give a little bit of TLC. We often have people that come up on the radio and they're distraught and distressed. And all of a sudden they get text messages from family, relatives and friends of the night shift that just say, we've got your back, we've got you covered. People are being kind to one another. It's so simple, but in hindsight, it makes other people happy. The gift of kindness is it's inexpensive, but boy, is it powerful.
It's giving and receiving. And the word that you use there is empathy. and to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and to treat other people the way that you'd want to be treated. So I'm reading a book at the moment, and it's called Where War Ends, Recovering from PTSD and Moral Injury Through Meditation. Now, I have no idea what those people have been through to be in that situation in a war zone. But guess what I do know, Todd? I know how people are feeling because of COVID, because I've been through it. And I think that's one of the big gifts that COVID has given us. It gives us a point of reference to empathise with others and say, I know how you're feeling because I've been through it myself. That's a very powerful thing to remind ourselves about being kind and being empathetic, because we've all been through a really rough time over the last 3 years. And days like this, maybe, Todd, instead of just like a red pants thing, as you quite rightly said, or a marketing opportunity to sell different products, is just a really good reminder that we've been through a good time. But what if we're going to go through a happy time? What if we were to focus on a little bit of happiness and being mindful and ring up a buddy? You and me are having a bromance. That's public knowledge now. And every time we ring up and have a chat, I know I always feel better for it as well too. So I encourage the people to connect with another human being and be empathetic, but have a really good conversation and just connect with another human being. It's a wonderful thing, and you will come out happy and you will have a laugh, I guarantee it.
Merv Neal is from Laughter Yoga Australia. I'll give you the .com and everything to go to in a little while. But in the meantime, I want to stay on this subject matter of International Day of Happiness. It's been around for a little while. Mindful, grateful, kind. When you are mindful, it's instead of sort of going into the process of just normal thoughts and just following rote systems of your life and the way that you do things and work on A and B and C to end up with D. When you are mindful and you find yourself doing something that you don't like, or you find yourself fearful, you've got the ability to change it. We do have a choice with every decision that we make. It's not, well, it is. It's actually as simple as it sounds. And I'm just wondering too, you know, with regards to yoga, yoga is exercise within. Yoga is allowing your body to feel positive energy and keeping it supple and keeping it moving. And laughter yoga is all about exercising within exactly the same way. I'm also wondering, mindfulness and yoga, is there a synergy between that and meditation? I mean, I know that there's a lot of Zen people out there that are very big on meditation, but meditation can just be simply as simple as sitting down with a really good cup of tea and just letting your mind be at rest.
Oh, absolutely. Look, it's all about the breath, Todd. So the word yoga means the unity of the body, mind and spirit. That's all it means. But how do you do that? You breathe. All right. So I've got lots and lots of yoga teachers. They get very frustrated when they're having a yoga class and they'll yell out at some stage, don't forget to breathe, because everyone gets so serious about putting their body into a certain position. And yoga is all about the breath and focusing on the breath. Meditation is nothing more than focusing on the breath. Once again, these wonderful young students, the 11, 12s that I had today, I had them lying on the floor and I put a mobile phone on their tummy and just said, focus on pushing it up, pushing it down. Once again, after the people have listened to us having a chat here, write through things that you're grateful for. They will be positive. And then lie down and put a mobile phone or any object on your tummy and breathe in and push it up towards the ceiling. Breathe out, push it down towards the floor. Do that slowly and methodically, and that is meditation. It's all about the breath. So if you can focus on the breath, guess what? Everything else goes away.
So, Merv, the simplicity of breathing correctly, what does that do from a biological point of view? It obviously puts a lot more oxygen in the system, which means that we've got, you know, better blood pumping through our system?
Yeah, it's all about the diaphragm, Todd. So when we are meditating with that little exercise, breathing up and pushing the mobile phone up and down, that's engaging the diaphragm. Now, when we engage the diaphragm in a meaningful and slow, methodical way, about 5 to 6 breath rounds per minute, we're actually stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms us down. But if you put your hands on your tummy now, Todd, and everybody can do it at home,
sure,
and just breathe out and just go and keep breathing out. You can feel the tummy going in, which means that the diaphragm is pushing all of the air out of your lungs. Now, Todd, the only way you're going to get more oxygen into your body is to deflate the lungs and get all the toxins and all the bad air out. So
Gotcha.
you can't get more oxygen in until you actually breathe out. So the emphasis on any meditative exercise, laughter is a meditative breathing exercise, is to exhale for as long as you possibly can. Then you'll get more oxygen coming in, getting onto the old blood system, the red blood cells going to the cells of your body, which is energy, and going to your brain to help you think more clearly. That's how it works.
This has been an amazing conversation, Merv. We haven't dived in and had a really good giggle at the main time, but I want to say to everybody, the breathing aspect of this is so important. Getting the exhale out of your body and emitting everything that's in your lungs to get the fresh air in on the other side. If anyone wants to find out a bit more about the one and only Merv Neal, who has been very informative tonight, thank you so much for joining us. Where do we go? Is there a .org.com? Where do we go?
Oh, yeah, laughteryogaaustralia.org. We've got free daily laughter sessions for people to experience there. If anyone wants to contact me personally, mervneal.com. I'm not that hard to find. I've got one exercise just to finish this off. Can I have your permission to do that, Todd?
Go, mate. What is it?
Okay, everyone breathe in.
Yep.
Now exhale, but make a noise.
I see what you did there. Merv Neal from Laughter Yoga. Laughteryoga.org is where you can go. Thanks, Merv. See you, mate.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. See ya.